Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, desires of the flesh, desires of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world. The world is passing away along with its desires, but whoever does the will of God abides forever. In light of the fact that we as Christians are not just lovers, we're profligate lovers. We are called to love like nobody's business. We love because God is love. We love because God first loved us. We love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and we love our neighbor as ourselves. There are myriad commands to love one another. In fact, that's how the world knows that we're Christians, by our love and our love for one another. Not only our love for one another, we love our enemies. This seems to contradict our most beloved verse in the Bible, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, so that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. What can make this text of ours so confusing? In light of all of this, it comes as a shock to the system when we read the word, do not love. And yet, there they are, do not love. Even when I just let that sit there, you don't like it. You're like, finish the sentence. No, I want you to hear those words, do not love. It's a command, which means that if we violate it, that we're in sin. In other words, love can be sinful. Remember, I told you this is an important word for our day. Love can be sinful. We live in the midst of a culture that needs to hear that. It needs to hear that from us, because it's coming at us with this whole love is love mentality. And how can you be against love? Nobody can be against love. Certainly Christians can't be against love, because God is love and we are called to love. Therefore, how can you stand in the way of any two people who love one another? Our text today makes it very clear that there are instances when love can be sinful. The question is, what makes love sinful? What could possibly make love sinful? Under what circumstances would love be considered sinful? First of all, love becomes sinful when it is directed at the wrong object. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. John is not saying here that we should not love this universe, this world, this earth that God created. That's not what's being said here. Secondly, the term world refers to the people that inhabit this world that God created. And God is not saying, do not love people, do not love mankind. Absolutely not. We know that it doesn't mean that, because the love that we're called to give, even to our enemies, the great commandment, love the Lord, your God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. So John can't be talking about that first world here, and he can't be talking about that second world here. That would be a contradiction. However, there's a third use of the term world, and that third use refers to the spiritual realm that is in opposition to God and in rebellion against his kingdom. It is that third sense of world that is being discussed here. So when John says, do not love the world, he says your love becomes sinful when it's directed at that system that is anti-God, that system that is anti-kingdom, that system that is satanic. And he makes it obvious that it's satanic because he uses it several times here, even in 1 John. John writes that by faith, the Christian is able to overcome the world in 1 John 5:4-5. In our text, he says the world passes away. In chapter 3, verse 1, he says the world is ignorant of God. In 3:13, he says the world hates believers. In 4:1, he says it's the abode of false prophets. And 4:3, it's the abode of the Antichrist. And in 4:5, it's the abode of unbelievers.